I'm Nick Shell, and if you're watching this video, which there's a good chance you are, because how could you not be? Let's assume you're watching this video right now. That also means, it implies you've also watched the video and that link right there, which is a video of me performing this song, I Will Find a Way to You. I like to make videos to explain the inspiration behind why I write the songs I do and go through all the lyrics. So I Will Find a Way to You, very recently written. I actually only finished on October 25th, 2020, a couple days ago. But 2 weeks ago is when it started. I was with my family at Starbucks. It's our new tradition. We go there before church on Sundays. I walk in and they're playing a Tom Petty song that no one else would know. It was never a hit. It was never on his greatest hits. You've never heard it on the radio. But if you own all of his albums like me and you know all of his tracks, you know, hey, that's a Tom Petty song no one's ever heard of me. So I looked around the room, no one else picks up, hey, this is Tom Petty. It's just, I'm so proud that they're playing someone I really enjoy and I've always appreciated. So we sit down, get our drinks, and the next song comes on. It's also Tom Petty, a non-hit, another deep track. And by the third song in a row, I realized, okay, they're only playing Tom Petty and they're only playing his non-hits, his deep tracks. And so I looked around the room and I realized that everybody was digging these tunes of Tom Petty. And I realized Tom Petty had this ability to, anytime he wrote a song, it was just easy to like and it was easy to enjoy. Even if you didn't specifically remember it or realize, hey, that's Tom Petty, he had that ability. And so I went home inspired and thought, well, I want to write a song like that. So I came across this chord progression, which I'll talk about later in a minute. And within a week's time, I had this song written. Now, as far as what inspired the lyrics, I will say it's because at the gym, they, instead of going from like heavy metal Metallica, they've switched over to like late 80s glam rock and kind of almost metal. So like Bon Jovi, anything like Living on a Prayer, anything kind of like that. So you hear a lot of power ballads. It's basically the guy saying, I'm sorry, baby, take me back kind of stuff, which is not my thing. But I thought, what would it sound like if you wrote an emotionally intelligent song from a male perspective to a female trying to restore the relationship, and it was emotionally intelligent. So that's exactly what I aim to do here in this song. So starting with the opening line and the chorus, I will find a way to you, like the way a hidden ninja moves, like a detective uses clues, I will find a way to you. So I think so much as far as from the male perspective and restoring a relationship, it's a matter of finding those nuances. Where did this go wrong and how can I guide this back? It's not a war, it's not tribalism, it's not I'm right and you're wrong. It's a little bit of both. That both people are a little bit wrong and both people are a little bit right. But ultimately someone's got to lead that conversation, and I think it's ultimately the male's job to do that, even to kind of take one for the team, even if things don't in the end up, oh, I feel 100% great about that. Ultimately it's all about that compromise, and that's a very masculine thing to do, is to be able to lead and communicate in that way. So it's about the nuance, and you'll see that going into the first verse. As I say, I'll crack the cryptic code of nuance, uncover the deficit. Because that's ultimately what happens in relationships. There's some kind of deficit and you got to figure out on both parties where that is and how to restore that. The answer is simple, yet it's layered and complex. I'm stealing that from Dr. Phil, that's where I heard that. I'm not asking you to change. I'd rather take the blame. If it gets us back to good, then it's all the same. I will find a way. I will find a way to you. Notice in the beginning of that, I'll crack the cryptic code of nuance. I could have said chaos, but nuance makes more sense. Discover the deficit. That's alliteration. I don't want to rely just on rhymes. I want to do alliteration as well, which is a very biblical concept of poetry. The next verse, silence sets the stage for us. We are actors. Take your place. The answer is simple, yet it's layered and complex. I'm not needing to be right, nor for you to be wrong, but a temporary band-aid is not what I want. I'll find a way. I will find a way to you. And then the official, I guess you could call it bridge of the song. You are not far. You are 2 feet away from me. I'm on your side. I'm not the enemy. That just sort of points out the almost paradox in that which two people who know each other very well and are physically actually very close having these intense conversations. The irony of it, that you're not far away from each other and you're not enemies, but it feels that way until you make it that way. And I think, again, from the male perspective, a lot of that responsibility falls on navigating that conversation. So what I want to close with is the actual structure of the song. I believe in lyrical painting, which is writing chords that sort of illustrate the words themselves. So what's interesting about the song is it's not really in a real key. It's technically, truly the key of E, but it uses the minor chords and the major chord of D as well. And so ultimately it's a perfect and paradox, and it even like slides. It starts with, so it's D, E. Those don't really belong in the keys that they are in this song. They would belong more so in A, where you've got this minor, but I slip in the D, or actually the B and the C sharp minor, which are in the key of E. So I have created a perfect paradox in which two keys exist at the same time. And again, you're sliding from one key within the same bar right there. Like within almost the same, it should just be one chord, but I make it two chords of different keys basically. It almost technically doesn't make sense. And that's something I like about the song. It really stands out. This is not a chord progression you're going to hear in most pop songs. It's a challenging one. And of course, I have to point out the tempo of this, where I'm doing the palm muting. It's just up and down, but palm muting, almost like Bob Marley's song, except for that one part of the chorus. Find a way, like that. And I finally do kind of a normal thing, but then I stop strumming. So that's the only interruption. Otherwise, it's this steady type of almost Tom Petty vibe to it. I also feel there's vibes of the early 80s in this, like The Police, Men at Work, Electric Avenue, Eddie Grant, songs like that. I wanted to write a song that kind of embraced almost an early 80s feel, which is the line talking about the way a hidden ninja moves and a detective uses clues. Like, those aren't lyrics you'd really hear in many songs, so I thought, I want to put them in the song, but then it instantly sounded early 80s to me. So there you go. There's a story behind the song, I Will Find a Way to You. Your comments belong right here.